Well, hello everyone, how are you doing? It's lovely to see you again, and I hope you're all having a brilliant day and week so far, and a very warm welcome back to What's for Tea. Or if you're new, a warm welcome to you also. This is What's for Tea, and my name is Cheryl. This is just the part of the week where I show you what I made for the family meals for the previous week. So this is going to be the sort of Christmas week, you know, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, that kind of thing. So we usually start off on Monday all the way through till today, which is Sunday. And I've also got a few of your comments at the end, along with a wee bit of footage of our tree this year and a couple of pictures of our cat Jasper with his wee Christmas jumper on. So yeah, so let's go and see what we had this week. So starting off on Monday, we made an absolute favourite, which was mince and tatties. We just love this. So we started off with some mashed potato. We also had some mashed swede. We just put a wee bit of butter and pepper in that. And that's our minced beef, carrots, onions and gravy. And I'll leave the recipe for this in the description box down below. And moving on to Tuesday, I'd actually got some pork loin chops from the butcher and they were fabulous. And we had some creamed potato, some mashed carrot and swede, and a couple of wee cheese and onion croquettes. And I'm telling you, the flavour from these chops was unbelievable. I really don't think you can beat the local butcher for any meat, really. I mean, there's just no comparison between that and supermarket meat. It's a wee bit dearer, but worth it. And moving on to Wednesday, this is Christmas Day. Now from the local butcher I'd ordered some pork, some chicken, some ham and also a steak pie. There was some kind of mix up with the order so I didn't get the ham, but we had more than enough to go round. So I made a starter of cream of chicken soup, and I'll leave the recipe for this down below as well. I done this last week and with some crackers and bread with butter. This was lovely. And then like I said, we had roast pork and also some roast chicken, but I just had the roast pork and we ended up with a bigger joint of pork as well, so you know we had this for days afterwards. So this is what I had. So I started off with some roast potatoes with some herby duck fat, and that's my roast pork there. I had some Brussels sprouts, I love these, and some sage and onion stuffing, and I also made a cauliflower cheese with obviously some gravy as well. And this was so tasty. This was one with chicken. And I could just have this every day. It was unbelievable. Beautiful. Well, like I said, we didn't get the ham, but we had the chicken, we had the pork, and it was a massive big pork joint. So, you know, we've actually had quite a bit left, which I have used in another meal nearer the end of the week, which you'll see in a wee second. And for pudding, I made a traditional Scottish trifle. Now, this is basically a homemade fruit jelly with sponge cake and a layer of custard, a layer of cream with some flaked almonds and chocolate on top. And again, I'll leave a recipe for this down below. Moving on to Thursday, this is Boxing Day. Now, it's very traditional in this country to have steak pie. So that's what we did. We'd ordered a steak pie from the butcher. So a wee baked potato for a wee change, you know, from the mashed potato. Some cauliflower, again with some Brussels sprouts, and that's the steak pie there. It's basically steak and gravy with a puff pastry lid. And of course extra gravy on top. And I've also got a recipe for this, which again I'll leave in the description box down below. Very traditional this, but absolutely delicious. It's such a rich stew. And moving on to the Friday, and I made an Irish stew, which you'll have seen if you watched the video that I popped up the other day. I done this in the slow cooker and it was wonderful. Again, the beef was from the local butcher and it was just fall apart tender with some wonderful rich gravy. And we just had some sourdough bread at the side with some butter. And everybody loved this. In fact, we actually sent some round to Mr. What's for Tea's mother as well. There were loads of it. And again, I'll link the recipe in the description box down below, just in case you missed it. But like I said, this was the recipe that I popped up a few days ago. And moving on to Saturday, something else we haven't had for a while, which we all love, is fish and chips. Now, these are the chips that I buy, and they're absolutely wonderful. Well, highly recommended. So that's the chips and some garden peas, and that's a lovely breaded cod fillet with some tartar sauce. Now, I just got these cod fillets and I put them into some flour, some egg, and then some panko breadcrumbs. Me and Mr. What's for Tea had this with a wee bit of lemon on top. He actually wanted baked beans. Sacrilege. I hate that. He doesn't like peas too much, so he wanted baked beans with his, so fair enough. But oh no, complete sacrilege. And the girls had chicken Caesar salad. So that's just some coarse lettuce. They wanted something a bit lighter. Some croutons, some shaved parmesan, some grilled chicken and bacon, some more parmesan, some Caesar dressing with a wee bit of cheesy garlic bread at the side. I think they've had enough of meat, or red meat anyway. And moving on to today, and I just made some roast chicken in the Giant Yorkshire puddings. Now, I will link this recipe down below as well. And I didn't film the individual bits, but we've got some mashed potato in there, some roast chicken, some mashed turnip, leftover stuffing, and some tender stem broccoli. And that's some gravy on top as well. And this was super tasty. Like I said, I have done a recipe for these Giant Yorkshire puddings, and I will link it down below as well. It just makes for a sort of fun meal idea, I think. You know, everything's encased in the one thing. You know, we often go out to carveries and things, and this is quite popular if you go out to a carvery, you know, a sort of Giant Yorkshire pudding with everything inside. So that's what we had today. And moving on, these are just a few of your comments throughout the week. The first comment is from Christine, and she's written, Cheryl, you've hurt your thumb in the same place that I've hurt mine, lol. Great haul from Tesco. I don't shop in Morrison's as much as I used to. I go between Tesco, sometimes Aldi and Lidl. Thanks for sharing. Well, you're very welcome, Christine. We're the same. We generally go to Tesco or Aldi, but we have been going to Lidl and Aldi, but we have been going to Tesco more and more recently, and often pick up a few things from Asda as well. I just feel as though you get more selection, and that's basically it. You know, and their prices aren't bad either, so that's where we've been going. And yet the thumb, you know, I'm ever so clumsy, and with all the cooking and running around, you know, I just seem to bash my hands everywhere. I've got wee cuts all over the place and bruises. So thank you very much for your comment, Christine. Christine's actually got a channel on YouTube as well. She does a lot of crafting and daily vlogs and that kind of thing. So check her out if you're interested in crafting. Moving on. Next comment is from Helen, and she's written, I wouldn't have thought to freeze the fresh stir-fry mix. Have you done that before? Does it freeze well? Now, I've never actually done this before, but I do follow quite a lot of other, you know, similar YouTube channels to my own, and they seem to freeze fresh veggies quite often, but which I've never done. But I was going to give it a go because it's got quite a short shelf life on it, so I wasn't going to use this till, well, the middle of next week, so I was going to give it a go. So I'll try it out, and if it turns out rubbish, I'll let you know, but if it turns out fab, I'll also come back to your comment and let you know. So thank you very much for your comment, Helen. Our next comment is said, hi, hope you had a great Christmas. Oh, we had a fab Christmas. I hope you did as well. In fact, I hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas. In the pictures at the end, what part of Scotland was that? Well, that is actually the Isle of Arran. It's just a wee island off the west coast of Scotland, and it's about 50 minutes away from where we are by ferry, and we go over quite often. We just love it there. It's so peaceful. The scenery is spectacular, but then Scotland has got some wonderful scenery, but we just love the Isle of Arran. And when Mr. What's for Tea retires, that's where we're going to end up living out the rest of our days. We just love everything about it. The people are so friendly. Like I said, it's so peaceful and relaxing. You get some wonderful local produce and food. Fantastic wee local shops, and just everything about it we love. So yeah, that's the Isle of Arran. Well worth visiting if you're in this neck of the woods. So thank you very much for your comment. The next comment is from Miss Ms. Bloomers, she's written, great haul, Asda was giving away veg. See, that's the thing at this time of the year, they really do. After Christmas and Boxing Day, you go in and just as you go in the front door, there are boxes and boxes and boxes of carrots and parsnips, potatoes and Brussels sprouts, and they start off about £1 down to about 50p, 20p, then 10p, and they literally are giving them away at the end. I mean, they order in so much for Christmas and Boxing Day and they just can't get rid of it. So that's all to the good as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we love our veggies anyway, so yeah, thumbs up from us. Thank you very much for your comment. The next comment is from Ginger Hammond, and she's written, wow, there are 4 of us in our family. My hubby and I, our 2 sons, ages 26 and 23. Our grocery bill is about $175 per week. Oh my goodness, that's outrageous. That's about £130. Now, we're never more than, I think the upper end of what we spend is about £70. But I mean, there are 4 of us. There's me and Mr. What's for Tea, and Mr. What's for Tea's got 2 daughters. They're both in their early 20s, but they're not, they're not always here for tea. Sometimes it's just me and Mr. What's for Tea. Sometimes it's just me and Mr. What's for Tea and his younger daughter, because, sometimes they might be out with a boyfriend or out with their friends or, out to eat elsewhere. So it's not always the 4 of us. But what I tend to do, I'll write down in a bit of paper, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'll write down the meals that we're going to have, and then I'll go and have a look through the chest freezer, which I've got out in the garage. It's quite a big freezer, and also the freezer that I've got in the kitchen, along with the fridge and the cupboards, and I'll see what I've actually got and what needs used up. And based on that, I'll write down what extra things I need to get from the supermarket to add to make them into meals. So that's what I tend to do. And then extra things like bread, milk, butter, these kind of things, I do pick up in the supermarket, but we get a milk delivery as well, and we also get eggs delivered, we get orange juice delivered, and we do pick up bread and milk and things from local shops, or sometimes I put an order in to the local butcher, which can sometimes be £20-30, which I don't add, on top of the shopping hauls that you see, but you're simply seeing what I get from the supermarket. But there are things on top of that, obviously, that I don't show. But I never ever spend, never spend any more than £70 from, the supermarket. So yeah, £130 seems awful high to me, but then we do shop elsewhere. So thank you very much for your comment, Ginger. Lovely to see you, and thanks for watching. The next comment is from Jo Smith. Hi Jo, she's written, thanks for sharing. That stir fry sauce has 26 December date. Now, I've actually had to go and check, because I'm thinking, oh my goodness, if that's out of date, it must have been on the shelves for weeks and weeks, because I know these sauces have got such a long shelf life, because there's quite a lot of sugar and preservatives, and they're in that wee plastic bag. But rest assured, it's actually the 26th of January, so plenty of time yet. But thank you for the heads up. Lovely to see you, and thanks for commenting. Your last comment this week is from English Heart, and they've written, beautiful accent. Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. And I'm actually surprised at how many people mention my accent. It's just my voice. I'm used to hearing it, but I've got a bit of a mixed voice because I've lived all over Scotland. I've lived in Glasgow, Edinburgh, Ayrshire, wee places, wee tiny villages. I've lived up in Aberdeenshire, so I really have been all over the place, and I think I've picked up different wee bits from all over the place, because even people in Scotland have got difficulty pinpointing, my accent and where I'm from. They always get it wrong, but I think it's just a bit of a mixed bag. But yeah, so many people do mention my accent. I mean, I do like the Scottish accent, I must admit. I also love the Welsh accent, and certain English accents can be lovely, and also the Welsh accent. So yeah, I do like accents myself. So thank you very much, and thank you for your comment, and indeed thank you for watching. So that was my meals this week, and Jasper with his wee jumper on, and this is just a quick look at the tree this year. Now, we've got a really long sort of lounge dining room, and we've got double doors in the middle, which kind of separates the lounge off from the dining room. So this is right at the back of the dining room and tucked away into the corner. This back window actually looks on to the rear garden. So it's sort of, all the lights and things don't distract you, if you're sitting down the front of the lounge watching TV or on your computer or whatever you might be doing. So yeah, this is our tree. We've had this for about 6 years and it's still in fantastic condition, as you can see. And these are just a few of my favourite wee ornaments. Now, I don't spend an awful lot on decorations for the tree. These are just cheap and cheerful, but there are a few, you know, special ones on there. And as every year, I try and pick up one which is really special. But we do like these sort of clear or see-through baubles where you can actually see through. We sort of quirky decorations like that I like. So yeah, that's just a few of our wee gifts there as well. And this wee decoration here I like. These are the kind of things I'm talking about, you know. It's glass and there's a wee Santa inside and the snow at the bottom actually moves around. So every year I do like to have a wee look around and try and, you know, see if I can pick up something a wee bit different like this guy here. This is one of my favourites. And also this one here. This is a wee glass one with a glass Christmas tree inside that I actually had engraved in 2012. So I'm careful, you know, when I'm wrapping these ones in particular up when they're going back up into the attic, you know, so that they don't get smashed. But a lot of them are just cheap and cheerful, but there are some nice ones on there as well. So that's our wee tree for this year. I think next year I'll swap out the red and gold and green, and I think we'll go for sort of gold and black maybe. I like the idea of that. So thank you very much, guys, for popping over and checking out my wee Christmas week and what we had for tea. And so I just like to share these with you because I know that a lot of you are interested in seeing what we're having. It gives you ideas for yourself and your own family, you know. So I do like to share, and I just love making these wee videos. And a lot of you have contacted me on Instagram saying that you'd like to start up your own wee channel or like to share your own food and recipes. And I say go for it. I mean, what have you got to lose? Absolutely nothing, you know. So it's worth a go, and you might find yourself with a hobby like me that you absolutely love. So that's me. I'm going to go now because I'm in danger of rambling again, and that's the Isle of Arden there in the background. So until I see you next, guys, which is going to be during the week for another recipe, mind to take care of yourselves. And from our house in Scotland to wherever you are in the world, lots of love, take care, and bye for now. Bye now.